Hello there, it's Mrs. Bainey again, the expert English teacher, and I said I'd talk to you in these lessons a little bit about how you might tackle a question in the GCSE language exam. So one of the things people often like to look for are similes and metaphors because they feel that they can probably identify them. If you're not sure about that, I will talk to you about how to identify similes and metaphors in my first lessons. And this is part of that first lesson, which is a very simple example of how to talk about similes and metaphors. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, and I'll show you a little bit of a poem that somebody wrote for me. So this poem is a poem about someone's brother, okay, a boy called Andrew. And he very kindly said that I could share his work with my students to help them with understanding similes and metaphors, because I thought his poem was such a good example that I could share with people, because most people at all levels could understand it, but really understand what to do with it, which is the thing you need to know in the exam. So I'll read it to you to start with. So, my brother. This person is a safety net that's not there, and a nuclear reactor in meltdown. He's like a loaded shotgun and is as much fun as eating sprouts underwater. His face is like a bulldog eating a wasp. He's a cheesy zombie movie, and like a monkey with a bazooka, he's a bad cold and a nasty smell that won't go away. So as you can see, I've explained that the choice of similes and metaphors in a piece often conveys the emotional tone. Emotional tone means the feelings that the reader has and the feeling that they're meant to be getting from that piece. So can you tell how Andrew felt about his brother? Yeah, you're right. He wasn't very happy with his brother, was he? And it's meant to be quite humorous because he tells us about his brother in such a way that we find it quite hilarious, the way that his brother is. Okay. But in the exam, what you have to do is you then have to explain how. How do we know that? How do we know how he felt about his brother? What devices, what techniques were used by that writer? And we need to explore those and talk about them in such a way that we'll get lots of marks from the examiner. So I'm going to show you an answer that we could have written about this. Now, obviously, the first piece, this person is a safety net that's not there. It's a metaphor, okay? It's not a direct comparison like as or like. It's this person is a safety net. So we know that it's a metaphor, okay? So once you've worked out that it's a metaphor, you've got to explain how it works. So the writer uses a metaphor about a safety net to help us to understand how he feels about his brother. Might be your opening sentence. Then you put your little quotation in. This person is a safety net that's not there. Now comes the important part. How? How does the writer show us this? So this is how you do it. The writer is comparing his brother with a safety net, which should save you when things go wrong. But in this case, it is not there. A safety net should save you in times of trouble. This implies that his brother isn't someone he can rely on because he would let him down. It makes you realize that he doesn't trust his brother. The reader feels empathy for him as he lives with a brother that he doesn't trust. Now, obviously, I've done a lot there, and you probably wouldn't have to write quite that much to actually get your marks. But the point is, you will have got several marks. You'll have got a mark for putting your technique. You'll have got a mark for putting your quotation, and you will have a few marks for showing us how that comparison works and how it makes the reader feel. So if you've done all of those things, then you will have got all your marks for that little section of the language paper. Okay then. So I just wanted to show you a little bit. So that's a little bit how I'm going to be teaching my lessons. Obviously, there'll be a lot more advanced ideas than that, but hopefully I'm doing it in a way that's simple enough for people to understand and just sort of remind you of the main things that you have to do. Okay then, so I will see you in the next video, but if you like the way I'm teaching, then come along and join my course and I'll see you there too. Okay, bye.